And with that out of the way, we can go right ahead and talk about Pascal Siakam and his new contract. Well, not really his new contract extension, because it was just a report that came out that was saying he is expecting to sign a contract with the Pacers. So, like, the Pacers and Siakam agree to a max contract. Like, that's the headline of this, even though, free agency hasn't started yet. Now, the Pacers, like this, according to this article, the Pacers, they made a splash ahead of 2024 NBA trade deadline, acquiring Pascal Siakam from the Toronto Raptors. Yes, that was definitely one of the best trades in the recent history of the NBA. And it resulted in an Eastern Conference Finals appearance, despite the fact that the Knicks were injured, and I don't think the Pacers should have made it all the way to begin with. They did make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that's really that. They wouldn't have done it without Pascal Siakam, and that's his greatness and his ability to be a valuable asset on the offensive side of the ball is should not be underestimated. So there was a little bit of a debate on whether or not he was going to be re-signed by the Pacers. It was all dependent on how well he played, but he definitely earned this contract that he got from the Pacers. The new NBA rules state that teams can negotiate contracts with their players once the NBA finals are completed. So this doesn't violate any kind of tampering rules in the NBA, or like whatever you think it might violate. This isn't tampering. This is normal. The Pacers, they wasted no time getting to work with Pascal Siakam, as a new contract has been worked out. The two sides have agreed to a $189.5 million max contract that he intends to sign going into when free agency officially opens up. And once the NBA moratorium ends on July 6th, he can officially put pen to paper and seal the deal. In 41 regular season games with the Pacers, he averaged 21 points, 55% shooting, 39% from the three. Very, very efficient, was one of the best scorers on one of the best offenses in the NBA, the fastest pace offense in the NBA without a doubt. And the biggest reason why they were able to, stay alive for a majority of the postseason, why they were able to stay alive for a majority of their regular season, was because of their elite defenses. And, just the fact that they were not their elite defenses, excuse me, their elite offenses, my bad. Just the fact that they were able to constantly score, and the fact that they were constantly able to just outrun the defense that was, trying to get back. Like, they would be lazy trying to get back on defense, and when they get back on defense, it's like when they get back on defense, it's like, okay, they already have an open corner three. And what in the bye bye Monty, time to party. Yeah, I guess if you are a Pistons fan, it makes sense that you want to say goodbye to Monty, but it doesn't really matter. Like, the Pistons are still gonna lose a lot in the next season anyway, regardless of what coach they have. And I mean, that fifth pick that they got is gonna be very, very special, I'm sure. So, working out a long term deal with Siakam, it seemed obvious, and it seemed like that was going to be the next move for this team, because why wouldn't you want to pick up the third best well, not the third best, but the second best option on your team offensively, and especially when you made it so far into the Eastern Conference Finals. And he was consistently the team's best player in the 2024 playoffs as well. He averaged 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists and in the postseason, and he became only the third player to average 35 points and 10 rebounds in the first 2 games of the playoffs. Again, he was great for literally those 2 games, and he was roughly the same kind of player in the postseason, but still like really valuable for the Pacers and the offense that they run, how quickly they run it. Elgin Baylor in 1961 and Wilt Chamberlain in 67. They were the only players to achieve this feat, and the 367 points that Siakam scored in the postseason was the most for an Indiana Pacers player since Paul George in 2014. So obviously some elite company that Siakam's in just off of one postseason performance. And, obviously Siakam, he is an NBA champion, and he is one of the, I wouldn't really say, I'd give him a little bit, like, I'd say he's a bit, before this season, he was a bit underrated. But now that he was, on the Pacers and on a much higher market and a better market than the Raptors, since, the Pacers were a lot better, he sort of got a lot more attention being on the Pacers, therefore making him not underrated anymore. And, because in my opinion, he was one of the league's underrated players, but now he's not one of the league's underrated players. He might be. Halliburton is definitely the most overrated player on his team, but Siakam, I don't really think Siakam got as much credit in the postseason as, Halliburton and the rest of the team. But I don't know. I didn't really hear much noise on Siakam, aside from the first two games. So the team now, it has their cornerstones locked in through 2028 and 2029, and the deal with Siakam signed is the second largest in their franchise history, behind the 5-year, $245 million rookie scale max contract that Halliburton signed last year. So, that's they have a really good duo over in Indiana. It's probably going to last for a really long time. And I mean, these 5 years, we'll have to see exactly what they're going to do with those 5 years. And let me know in the comments what you guys think is like up for the Pacers in the future. Do they make the finals? Do they win the finals? Or are they going to be like one of those teams that just makes it really far, or like that always makes the playoffs but just never gets past? Or are they going to be like the Clippers, dare I say? Or are they going to be like a team like the Boston Celtics, where it just takes them a very long time until they finally get that championship and they finally get over the hump? But we'll see. So with that, we are out of time for the second segment. So now we will go ahead and go into the third segment, see how long this drags on. But essentially what I'm going to do for the next 3 segments is talk about the top free agents that are going into the next NBA season. So I'm going to talk all about that in the third, the fourth, and the fifth segment, because there's like, I believe, 24 that I have on this list at least, but there might be more coming in soon, but we'll go ahead and see, like, it's depending on, player options and things like that right after this short break. So be sure to stay tuned.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.